Good evening. How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Tuesday night. It is the Earth Master out here, 10:30 p.m. 10:34 p.m. That's California time here. May 27, 2025 is the date. Latest activity shows a 2.6 there across Northern California. Looks like the Petrolia station is offline, so we can't see the earthquake coming in there. But I think I called this morning here, expecting some further earthquake activity, as it was a little light. We only had one earthquake there on the map this morning. It looks like we got a couple more added onto the Northern California map, 2.9 and also 2.6. The latest one there, fairly deep there off the subduction zone of the Cascadia. I can almost guarantee you that the tremor map is quite amplified once again underneath this area, and it is so. 238 epicenters of tremor there across the extreme Northern California and southwestern Oregon, southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. So that's going to bring our tremor count up there to a considerable number here, which looks like it roughly began around the 7th of this month, and it's been fairly consistent. A little bit of downturn here in the last couple days, but still overall the tremor count remains high. 11,108 epicenters of tremor there across the Cascadia subduction zone, further adding strain and stress out here. More specifically across the southern end of the Cascadia, that's where we've had, in the last 30 days, a decent amount of earthquake activity, more so than normal. Got about 54 earthquakes out here of various magnitudes, including a couple 4s, a number of 3s, and a whole bunch of 2s out there. And this is well above the normal level that you would see on any given monthly period. And that all has to do with the tremor activity occurring down dip into the Cascadia, resulting in further strain upstream. No big earthquake activity there along the Cascadia yet. I think we would all know about it, that's for sure, if that were to take place. But for now, the Cascadia monster offshore sleeps. Washington area definitely seen an uptick in earthquake activity as well, mainly across the Cascades, a couple around the volcanoes there as well of Washington. Nothing big, but a notable increase here in smaller microquake activity there in Washington. One earthquake around the, looks like the Newberry volcano there, outside the crater area, a little point, negative 0.1, very small microquake. One earthquake up here in the Shasta National Forest near Dunsmuir, a little two-pointer it looks like this afternoon. The Bay Area, well, I was going to say it's quiet, but it hasn't completely calmed down here. We got a 1.0 off of the Greenville fault after a number of days of being relatively quiet out here. We've seen somewhat of an uptick here across the area, but really, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 earthquakes here yesterday. It was starting to kick up. All those earthquakes kicked up roughly within about the same time period of each other, but then it completely died down. So I'm not for sure what's going on there with the Bay Area. It's been a little odd for earthquake activity there. But kind of watching it there. It's just the Hayward Fault obviously is primed and loaded for earthquake activity as far as larger scale events go. And it definitely makes me a little bit nervous here when it goes super quiet like that. Outside of Parkfield there, let's see what we got for some earthquake activity. It looks like a couple smaller earthquakes, mainly on the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault here. Nothing on the Parkfield segment yet. We are expecting a 6-pointer out here soon. And I say expecting because it runs regular intervals of about 22 years or so. Last one being 2004 for a 6.0 earthquake along that plate boundary. And the rest of Southern California, as you can see here, mostly smaller microquake activity just outside of West Bishop area, 2.8 coming in this evening. That's out there around the volcanic tablelands there. Bunch of them. Looks like it's at the southern end there off of 395 outside of Bishop. Nothing big going on there for now, but the West Coast, I guarantee you it's primed. Primed for some big earthquake activity. Yellowstone National Park, nothing going on there across the map, but I just want to double check, make sure, right? See that we're getting the most recent information here. Earthquake activity in question If there is any, going to be this one and this one up here. Looks like there was some thunderstorm activity out there earlier in the afternoon. But far as any earthquake activity goes, it looks like it's pretty quiet. Again, thunderstorm activity, it looks like it blew through there. Late afternoon time period, and I can verify that. I do like to verify when I'm making a statement out here. So we'll go up here to northwestern Wyoming. We'll check out the radar, and we'll go back the last 6 hours or so and show you guys the storms that blew through this area in the afternoon time period. Quite a few lightning strikes out there, little miniature storms, little thunderstorms, that is. And who knows, there could have been some strong winds out there as well. But mainly these readings that we see during the late afternoon, and they always happen at roughly about the late afternoon time period every single day with thunderstorms popping up. And the exposed seismograph stations there show up the readings there across Yellowstone. Those are not earthquakes. It's not magma movement. It's simply just some thunderstorms rolling through the area. Nothing new to report out here across the rest of the country. Got a decent amount of earthquake activity here off the coast of Mexico. 5.8 earlier this afternoon. That was followed up by a 5.9 and then a 4.2. So this area just off the coast of Mexico there on the plate boundary of the Cocos plate, this little small plate, and the Pacific plate boundary. This is a fracture zone here, and I think let's take a look here at historical data, see what we got for earthquake activity there. We're going to check 5.0 and above, and we're just going to go back a whole bunch of years and see what's going on out there across that area. It's roughly, you can actually see it off here a little bit, a couple different fracture zones. Let me double check, make sure. Could be off the tip there and roughly in this area. Obviously, the Middle America Trench, that subduction zone, can get some big earthquakes, but I just kind of want to see what we got out here for larger earthquake activity historically, where the earthquake activity struck today. There's our two earthquakes today. As you can see, very active out here historically. As far as any larger movement goes in the area, looks like a 6.2 1987. They don't really get much bigger than that. Low 6-pointers, 6.1, 6.0. You know, it looks like maybe we were overdue, or not overdue, but at least due for some earthquake activity out here in this fracture boundary. But this is not set up for large-scale earthquake activity. It's not a subduction zone. It's not a transform boundary. Most of the time, this is a either a strike slip boundary or a divergent zone, a separation here of the seafloor. And in that case, that could amplify conditions there across, Mexico area. But definitely got a decent amount of earthquake activity stirring up there with some aftershock movement. I'll just keep an eye on that. Like I say, I don't see anything of any larger magnitudes out here. It's not set up for that. There's no way that could produce anything majorly significant. All right, let's see what else we got out here across the global view. 2.5. Is that another 2.5? No, that was at... that's interesting. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, that was at 10:17 or so p.m. California time. The rest of the globe out here, relatively quiet across Japan for now, with some further activity off on the east coast of Australia. Still got to watch New Zealand. Man, I tell you what, it's similar to California in terms of riding the plate boundary out here. Got some major potential, and a lot of time has passed out there across the New Zealand area as far as larger scale movement goes. So watch that. The rest of the area, pretty quiet. The Atlantic, quiet. Some movement up here across the area of Peru, it looks like. Got 5-pointer coming in this evening. A couple other smaller quakes downstream. Latest activity of 4.4 there across the Middle America Trench. And this activity, those upper fives that we're seeing, is if it's on a divergent boundary zone or a strike slip boundary, This can move, right? Applying pressure down here across the Middle America Trench. Hard to say if that's a result. This earthquake activity here off the coast of Nicaragua is a result of this activity, but you just never know. It does normally, the pressure transfer normally does transfer across this area here along Mexico and the Middle America Trench, so that could ramp up further. The Big Island of Hawaii, nothing new out there. Of course, we just got through dealing with an eruption out there. No thanks. Let's go over here to Kilauea Volcano and see what we got out here. Episode number 23 there paused a couple days ago there, Sunday, May 25th. So I just want to look at the deformation data, see how we're responding. I mean, nothing new. Nothing new. If you guys want to go see an eruption, you can almost plan this perfectly in terms of being there before the eruption happens. There's 23, 24 episodes here. This is the prime time to go out and see the eruption there across Kilauea Volcano. We're going back up. We'll probably see an eruption again here. I'm guessing, just looking at this data, probably in about 3 to 4 days or so. Here's our pause in the eruption, right here. This is the eruption on the 25th. Going back up. Nothing has changed here, so that means that we're going to see another eruption here soon across Kilauea Volcano. Just a rinse and repeat cycle. Episode 24 is in the forecast. Far as space weather activity goes, we're kind of dipping down a little bit here. Not for sure what's going on. Let's take a look here at our sunspots. Who turned off the sunlight? We still got a decent area back over here. I am not dropping my flare threat. I noticed that Kevin here has dropped their flare threat down to about 15% chance for an X flare from 30. I am leaving mine elevated there just because of this sunspot here, 4099. It is still quite complex. This is not dropped out whatsoever. So Kevin, for the most part, on Solar Ham follows the Space Weather Prediction Center as far as their forecast for solar flares. But I've been producing my solar flare forecasts for a little bit here, and I'm still calling for some X flare potential from this area and also this region up here. I have not dropped my flare threat, and I will not drop it either. Both of these sunspot areas are quite capable of producing some stronger flares. Even though the activity right now is down into the lower C flare category, don't let that fool you. Look at the UV filter image here of the sun. Some bright features out here, and even a newer region that looks like cresting around the northeastern limb of the sun. That's going to be from sunspot. Well, it's not named yet, but it's back over here. It will be named here tomorrow. I guess we'll see. But watch these areas. I'm not thinking they're going away yet without producing some stronger flares. As far as the aurora forecast goes there, well, it's an iffy, and I called that here yesterday, maybe this morning here. This is some high-speed solar wind stream that's coming from a couple different coronal holes here, number 52. Just a very slim sliver of a coronal hole, and I don't really expect much from that. No massive solar storms as far as the auroras go. Maybe up to a G1 class storm. That's what they're showing. I don't see it. It's not showing up there on the aurora forecast for now, but we'll see what happens there over the next couple nights. Storm Prediction Center. Well, take a look here. It's pretty much like a rinse and repeat cycle out there across Texas and Oklahoma. They've had a dandy of a winter out, or not winter. I want to say winter because normally in the wintertime here in California, that's when we get our rain. But in the springtime out here, that's when they get their rain out there across the beautiful states, southern plains out there. Nice and green. I love going out, seeing Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas absolutely green this time of year. Here in California, we're high and dry. In fact, we're going to be super hot I'm underneath an excessive heat watch here for Friday and Saturday. Anyone want to trade places here? I'm not a big fan of 110 degrees, but it looks like that's what's going to happen out here. Check out this temperature anomaly map as we head into Friday, roughly about here or so. Look at that massive high pressure building up here across the west coast. We're talking about temperatures 15 to 20 degrees above average. That puts us at about 110 degrees or so. And that is not okay with me whatsoever. I'm not okay with that. Just letting you know, and I'm very vocal when it comes to that. I don't like the heat one bit. So Friday and Saturday going to cook, but it looks like things are going to cool down out here with a little bit of a below average. So a little bit of a roller coaster weather out here for the West Coast, as far as temperatures go. I don't know about rainfall. I don't think we're going to get too much here in terms of any precipitation, but maybe some mountain thunderstorms and whatnot out there. But this is the forecast here till about June 13th. Look at Oklahoma and Kansas. Kansas, if you're waiting on rain around Wichita, northwest of Wichita, you got quite a bit coming in there. I know that's our central area for our bread basket, so to speak. Got a lot of rain coming in. Oklahoma, I don't know if they need any more rain, but they're going to get it. So it's looking good out there as far as precipitation goes. I don't think these guys are having to worry about any type of drought conditions out there. Let's see what we got as far as drought goes. Drought monitoring. Yeah, wow, look at that. Looks pretty good out there across the majority of the country, east of the Rockies. I'm sure down here across the desert southwest, this will fill in with the monsoonal moisture. California is starting to creep back in there with some drought conditions, unfortunately. But, hey, you know what? I'm very thankful for the winter that we had and the precipitation that we had. We've had about 3 decent winters out here of precipitation here for Northern California. Southern California had a little bit, but not so much. So, I mean, we just got to be thankful for what we get out here for sure. All right, one more little small spike of an earthquake on the Petrolia station, although that one's very small. But still, keep an eye there on the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. I keep repeating myself with respect to what I'm saying here, that we could see a partial rupture of the Cascadia anytime soon. I honestly, the possibilities of seeing a full rupture here are very not out of the norm, not completely zero, but I think that the chances of seeing anything along the Cascadia are heightened here across the southern end more so than the entirety of the Cascadia. And of course, down here across southern end of the Cascadia, we can see anywhere from a 7.9 up to an 8.4 or so. And that in itself would be a pretty big earthquake and tsunami. And they do happen in between major ruptures. The last major rupture back in 1700. So it's possible here. A lot of people don't talk about it. They're like, oh, the Cascadia, we're good. We're good, right? It happened 325 years ago. On average, it's 250 to 500 years. So we got another 150 years before a full rupture. But no one ever talks about the partial ruptures that happens in between those major ruptures. So, and I'm more inclined to thinking that we'll see a partial rupture because of all the elevated tremor down south. A lot of earthquake activity offshore, Gorda Ridges, the Blanco Fracture Zone, all straining this area down south here. And with this amount of earthquake activity here around the Triple Point boundary, it's quite heightened, to say the least there. So we'll just be on guard here, folks, and we'll see what plays out. I'm not predicting an earthquake, but it's possible. You got to look at everything that's going on around us. Up into Alaska, what do we got? I know I skip over Alaska quite a bit out here, but it's one of those areas that are always getting just a bunch of small microquake activity. Yeah, nothing big. nothing big going on there for now. We would know about it because the Aleutian Trench sits up there, and that's wow, is that a major earthquake producer in the 9 range? We don't want to. When I don't talk about Alaska, that's probably good news, because we don't want to be talking about what is capable up there across the Aleutian Trench. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Have yourself a good Tuesday. We'll see you guys back out here for the Wednesday morning update. I'm gonna try to get some sleep here. It's coming up. Well, it's actually well past my bedtime, so 11 o'clock. Way past my bedtime. I would love to go to sleep around 8 o'clock or so, because it takes me like hours to go to sleep. So by the time I go to sleep here after the update's done, it's midnight, and then, yeah. 8 o'clock bedtime sounds good to me. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you guys out here tomorrow morning. Stay safe. Have a good night.